make the most out of the time na nakatira ka sa parents mo. So what I did talaga nung nag-start ako, maybe I was saving 80 to 90% of how
Whoa.
much of what I was earning. Like literally, and this is, I don't know if this is good or bad, but this is because I had my timeline eh. Kasi my mindset there was that I was gonna take up law school, and nasa isip ko na I also wanna have my own family. Law school is what, 4 to 6 years depending on full time ka or not, right? So I had that in mind na okay, may timeline ako. I have to go to law school within 2 to 3 years. Especially with what happened now, you never know when your income is going to stop from an employment. Eh. So I think it's very important na you create that safety net for yourself through your savings. Na whether or not tomorrow may work ka, you have some savings to at least help you within the next 6 or 12 months.
Mm, galing. So, property, stocks, cash, then may job. Tapos dinisclose mo pa yesterday, getting married, may love life, complete. To that. I have this question. At least people can picture it. When you were earning in the States, nung pagbalik mo dito sa Philippines, ilan percent yung binaba from what you were getting to what?
Mm,
Oo. Kasi para at least
malaki.
para at least hindi naman magkaroon ng false expectation na sa mga hindi, konti lang bababa niyan, ganun pa. Percentage-wise, if you remember yung pinagbago niya. Hi guys, so we're back again. For those who watched the previous video, we had Liezel. Again, sobrang daming Liezel sa Pilipinas. And the context of this is she asked me several questions, but after that, she shared a bit of her life story. Then sabi ko, mukhang maganda yung life story niya. And we're in this video, we're gonna talk about her life. Gaano siya kagaling and bakit siya sobrang yaman ngayon. That's what we're gonna talk about. So, Liezel Papa, welcome back to the vlog.
Thank you, Sir Marvin. Happy to
Uh,
be back.
let's
Mhm.
start. No, what I wanted to focus on, and that's what we're gonna talk about for this entire, I guess, some parts of this video is that sabi mo you were in the US already, tapos you purposely chose to go back to the Philippines, and that's a very very inspiring story. Na I there's a lot of Filipinos abroad that watch this vlog, and yun din yung pangarap nila. Some of them really 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 want to go home, but they can't yet because syempre there's a lot of circumstances that they need to stay abroad first before they can come back home. So yun yung pag-usapan natin. Why did you go back home? Bakit nakauwi ka kagad? How did it go from a financial aspect? But before that, backstory. Tell us about your life. Go.
Okay. So yeah, so kagaya nung na-share ko kahapon with you, Sir Marvin, yung family namin, nag-migrate kami sa US way back nung high school pa ako. I was fourth year in high school here, and then all of a sudden, we needed to migrate. So, nag-stay kami sa States. During that time, of course, hindi pa tayo K-12. So, I had to spend another 3 years ng high school sa States. And then after that, I knew I wanted to study dito sa Philippines because one, I really don't want to have any student loans. I don't want to start, my career having student loan. Also because, I hear it from some friends and some people na nasa States na they're busy paying off their loan as soon as they get out of college.
Mm.
So for college, yeah, I stayed here in the Philippines, and I was staying with a relative kasi nga the whole family were already in the States. And right after college, I took the board exam since, yeah, I majored in accounting. So expected here in the Philippines na you take your CPA licensure exam. Right after I passed, I didn't even get to attend the O-taking. I had to leave na for the US. So I left for the States. And as soon as I started working, I already know I wanted to go back. At first, ang plan ko talaga is to take up law. I wanted to go for law school. So, my mindset, as soon as nag-start ako mag-work, I had to save. Talagang, day one, well, it took me a while. First of all, it took me a while to get a job in the States. Kasi, di ba, there were a lot of discouraging also, opinion from people na, oh, hindi mo magagamit yung degree mo sa US because, um, like that idea na pag punta mo ng ibang bansa, unless you really are migrating for the fact na you're going to work and hired ka na, the idea is that hindi mo talaga magagamit. But to me, it's challenging for you to enter like to enter any type of work in the States, but you just really have to try. Actually, my very first job, I had to enter through an agency. It was a temp to hire position that I took in. And then, I really did my best para magustuhan ako ng company. And then after around 6 months, they decided to absorb me. So that's how my career started. And then after that, I stayed there for maybe around 2 to 3 years. And I got promoted. And then my previous boss na umalis sa company, he contacted me after few months of leaving, and sinabi niya na he wanted to get me for the new companies that he's working with. And yun yung parang naging job ko before I left the States. So I was a financial manager for a company in the States. And then during that time, nag-iipon lang talaga ako. I was really sticking to my budget. Talagang sobrang strict ko talaga sa budget ko. I had my budget laid out, and as I mentioned, fina-follow ko na kayo nila Randall Pyongson, you, Bo Sanchez. Like I was reading a lot, and I was really trying to follow a certain budget, and I always had a goal in mind, and which is to have enough savings to start. And kasi I already know for a fact, as soon as I leave for the Philippines, I'm not going to get the same amount of salary that I'm getting. So one of the things that I did also is to keep a certain lifestyle that it won't require me to have a very high budget monthly para ma-keep ko yung, like when I go back, I know na, okay, even if I actually don't earn as much anymore, I can still live a good life, because yun nga, meron na akong certain budget na nasa utak ko. So before I left, kasi I'm on my own na, since my family is already in the States. I had to find a place. So before I left sa US, actually not before I left, it was a year or two, I decided to invest in a condo. It was pre-selling pa, as in wala pang nakatayo. You don't even see any building yet. And then I decided to invest, and before ako, siguro schedule ko yung pagbalik ko, na by the time na babalik ako sa Philippines, pwede ko nang tiran yung condo. That's how early I invested in my place. And unfortunately, there were some delays, but after a few months, I was able to move in dun sa dito. Actually, ito yon. Ito yung place
Okay.
na yun. Yes, oo. Ito yun.
I have a question first, no, as you continue to share your story. Yung thing about the States is, tama naman, what state were you in? What city were you in?
I was in Maryland, near Washington, D.C.
Okay. I've only been to Washington, D.C. I don't know about how it is yung outside, no? Pero one thing about the States is you earn a lot, pero the cost of living there is expensive. The food is expensive, kasi restaurants, the tips, the rent, yes, taxi, etc. mahal. So it could be also that you're earning a lot, pero yung take home mo, because of the cost of living there, medyo mataas. Baka wala rin na ano. How was your life there? Paano ka nakasave doon? Did you set a percentage of an amount of money that you would save, na yun din yung magiging target mo, kaya sobrang dami mo ng pera ngayon sa Pilipinas?
Hindi naman sobrang dami. Pero kasi, after college, when I go back, I was lucky enough na I was living with my parents. So I think for any, like young adults or someone starting in life or starting in your career, make the most out of the time na nakatira ka sa parents mo. So what I did talaga nung nag-start ako, maybe I was saving 80 to 90% of how much of what I was earning. Like literally, and this is, I don't know if this is good or bad, but this is because I had my timeline eh. Kasi my mindset there was that I was gonna take up law school, and nasa isip ko na I also wanna have my own family. Law school is what? 4 to 6 years depending on full-time ka or not, right? So I was already, I had that in mind na, okay, may timeline ako. I have to go to law school within 2 to 3 years. Otherwise, baka hindi na. Kasi I don't wanna be in school and start a family at the same time. So, nung time na yon, literally, and I was living for $50 a week. Like $50 kasama na yung going out. Kasi I had this friends na we go out every Thursday night. kasama na yung budget ko for that. So I had to cut off Starbucks. I had to cut off talaga yung, so I talaga nagdadala ako ng baon ko every day, and I was really just trying to save. And kasi I read your book nga din, and na-realize ko talaga when you said, one of the scenario na natatandaan ko yun doon, when you said na it's better to save muna kasi once you save, it's easier for you to make your money grow rather than, let's say, starting on a 1,000 versus a 100,000. 10% of 100,000 is another 10,000. So my idea is that, okay, I really have to save a certain amount so that somehow pagdating ko sa Philippines, when my salary isn't as much na, I can at least have another income from my savings. So that was the idea that I was
Pero $50 a
having.
week, guys. To those watching this from the US, comment below kung kaya niyo yung ginawa ni Liezel. Kasi yung mga resto doon, 20, hindi pa nga resto, mga super mahal na resto. Kakain ka lang yung days, $20. So, galing, salute to you. So, you were saving 80% of what you had on a monthly basis. How many years mo ginawa yun? Did it ever come to a point na parang tinitipid ko na to sarili ko, parang hirap na hirap ka na sa ginagawa mo? Hindi ka ba nainggit sa mga tao na you were saving 80%? And then how many years did you do that?
Kasi I think what happened with me is that nung first year ko na nag-iipon ako, so ipon ako ng ipon, right? But then all of a sudden I decided, okay, I wanted to go to this trip in Europe, and then in one trip I spent so much. And then after nung trip na yun, I realized na parang, okay, what happened? Parang nasayang yung, like that whole year. Not naman, I'm not saying that you shouldn't spend on your trip, but I think doon ko in-apply na I need to have separate savings. Kasi before, the idea is that for you to just have one saving, right? So, nung time na yon, ang ginawa ko, in-apply ko yung iba-ibang basket. So, I have the savings for when I go back to the Philippines. I have this I always have a parang fun fund, like either for shopping, for whatnot. And until now, I do that. Whenever I do my budget, I always have this buffer na para sa fun money ko siya. So that, even if you're saving, you actually can still do what you want to do and still spend on the things that you want. But then at the same time, you only have a certain amount na na, okay, right now, this is what I'm going to spend on my travels. I still get to travel when I want. I still get to buy things when I want. But the more you save kasi parang the craving is less because na you can always do it naman or you can always buy it naman. So I think once you have that discipline na, it's easier for you to actually stick on your budget.
So how many years did you do that? Total for saving 80%. So tip din yun, no? Ako rin naman kasi I stayed with my parents up until I got married. Doon lang talaga ako umalis, no? How many years did you save 80% straight?
So I graduated college 2012, and then my first job is January 2013. So from January 2013 up to when I came back to the Philippines, which is around May 2016. So more or less, yeah. 3 to 4.
I think interesting doon. 3 years, saved it here. Pag uwi mo dito sa Philippines, yung savings na yun, ginamit mo or in-invest mo lahat, tapos yung investments, yung kita ng investments, yun yung ginagamit mo ngayon. How did it go also? The reason why I'm asking that, para people who are abroad also, they can plan how they can strategize things eh. Kasi people also have to realize that if umuwi ka sa Pilipinas, you also have to be productive, meaning when you're productive, kikita ka pa rin naman ng pera, hindi ka naman mazizero eh. So, yun. So, how did you go about it?
Nung bumalik ako sa Philippines, luckily kasi I was able to, parang for a few months, I was working remotely for the company in the States. So during that time, wala pa akong replacement. So I was working, but then I didn't have any job here, right? And then nung alam ko na it's about to end na, what I did, I created another budget that in-anticipate ko na ano ba yung usual na income dito. And then after that, nung alam ko na yung budget ko, so I set aside an emergency fund. And then that's when I knew na, okay, I have this money na pwede ko siya palaguin. So yung iba doon, as I mentioned, ginamit namin pang put up ng small business with my cousins. We have a small barbershop in Bulacan. And then some, I'm still continuing stocks kasi kahit nung nasa States na ako, I already had my stocks. And then nag-continue ako even nung nandito ako. So, iyon yung nilagay ko sa stocks. And right now kasi, ang mindset ko, especially kung nandito ako sa Philippines, no, feeling ko mas magastos yung mga Pilipino. parang parang mas magastos ako pag nandito ako sa Pilipinas. Mas madali gumastos kasi you're always out and about, ang daming pwedeng gawin, ang daming pwedeng bilhin, and all. So, for me to be more conscious, nag-start ako mag-invest sa real estate. So, I started small lot, ganon yung ginagawa ko. So, hindi na ako masyadong, although I have a certain money na kinikip ko na liquid, but nasa discipline ko na okay, sige, rather than, having all cash savings, I would start na sa real estate na lang ako mag-invest para, like in time, especially for, lots, like empty lots, it doesn't have so much maintenance, but then in time, nag-appreciate yung value. Although I don't have so many cash savings, I know that later on, kaya ko siyang i-liquidate and that would also help me.
So, when you said wala ka masyadong cash savings, ilan percentage ng, kunyari, ito yung overall portfolio mo, ilan na lang dun yung cash?
Ngayon, siguro mga 20 to 30.
Pero every time you have income, you put it sa mga properties. Mukhang madaming properties yung
hindi naman
natin na.
Hindi naman madami. Yes, parang ano na siya, kasi like I said, I always have a budget. So alam ko na okay, kung magkano yung kaya kong ipunin this year, kung magkano yung maipon ko this year based on saan napupunta yung money ko from, like I said, yung binabayaran ko for the real estate, and then at the same time yung sa cash savings ko. I always make sure that I have enough liquid funds. Although actually this quarantine period, somehow eye-opener siya sa akin. I think I have to increase more on my cash savings kasi this gives us so much uncertainty eh. Parang at least for me, I don't know about others, baka yung iba mas malakas loob nila, but parang right now 6 months is not, like, to me, just to feel comfortable, parang I would want to aim na meron ako at least 12 months emergency fund before I go into another new investment.
Pero you're saying that even if your job is secure, stable naman, parang kinakabahan ka pa rin or ano?
It's not that. Actually, pagdating sa job or any employment income, my mindset is I never want to rely on that. Meaning, actually, before my job now, I quit my other job nang wala pa akong ibang income. And, for some personal reason, I had to quit that job. And hindi ako takot only because I already know na, okay, meron akong emergency fund na pwede ko munang magamit. So, and that's the same with any job that you have. I think, like having an employment, regardless of what company it is, especially with what happened now, you never know when your income is going to stop from an employment. So I think it's very important that you create that safety net for yourself through your savings. Na whether or not tomorrow may work ka, you have some savings to at least help you within the next 6 or 12 months.
Galing. So, property, stocks, cash, then may job. Tapos dinisclose mo pa yesterday, getting married, may love life, complete that. I have this question. At least people can picture it. When you were earning in the States, nung pagbalik mo dito sa Philippines, ilan percent yung binaba from what you were getting to? Oo. Kasi
malaki.
Para at least hindi naman magkaroon ng false expectation na sana hindi, konti lang bababa niyan, gano'n. Percentage-wise, if you remember yung pinagbago niya.
Not even one-third. For my first job, not even one-third.
Meaning one-third yung nakukuha mo dito from what you were getting?
One-third lang, yes. Yung nakukuha ko, let's say, if I was getting, let's say, kunwari, kinikita ko doon is 30,000. Now, not even 10. And I knew, like, I had that in mind. Like, hindi ako, kasi, I mean, malaki talaga yung rates sa States, like you said, kasi malaki din naman yung cost of living doon. So, malaki talaga yung rate na makukuha mo. And from the time that I left my job, yung kinita ko dito, not even 1/3 yung
Hmm.
starting job ko.
And
But
it's
now, I'm earning more than that, pero it took years din kasi.
pero ilan year 4 years ka na from the time you went to the state from the time you were in the States, no? 2016. So ngayon,
Yes,
4 years
4 years na.
4 years na, nagkalahati naman, di naman. Di pa na.
Oo, nagkalahati
At
na.
yung,
More than kalahati.
at
Kasi
least
I'm doing, may client din ako ngayon. Oh, I think right now kasi pag may employment income ka, you can unless executive ka na, you have to be realistic sa level ng income na makuha mo. No matter how hard you work with your job, it's an 8-hour job, it's an office job. There's only a certain amount that you can get, especially with like in my age, I'm not even talagang super seasoned na in my field. So what I did, I keep on trying to find another stream of income. So right now I have a client also. So that's an additional income for me. And before I was doing part-time teaching then with my previous yeah, part-time teaching. But the teaching, it's more like passion for me eh. Like hindi ka naman masyadong kikita sa teaching. But yeah, those things, like I think what's important is for someone who really want to go back in here in the Philippines, you have to set that mindset na if you want to go back and get employed, you have to be more creative. Ano pa yung iba mong pwedeng gawing income aside from your employment salary? Kasi talagang salary rate here compared to abroad is much lower, and that's a reality. So you have to know how you can use either your skills or your savings in order to have more income for yourself.
Pero I guess difference lang also between there and here. Cost of living naman dito mas mababa. Mas
Yes,
mababa din. Yung difference lang din also dahil mas mababa din yung cost of living. Madaming efficiencies na wala sa States na wala rin dito. So
yes.
may ganung pros and cons. Now you're in the Philippines. I like what you said that you did not limit your streams of income, na you did not limit it from your job also. Did you have that mentality na sa States ka o dito mo na lang yan na natutunan na mukhang kulang sa Pilipinas, kailangan ng extra income?
Actually dito kasi pag sa States ka talagang feeling mo enough na siya eh. Parang gano'n yung thinking mo na enough na, and like I said, I was really parang fresh grad back then. So I was solely relying lang dun sa income ko. Nung nandito na ako, nung nakikita ko na talagang kailangan ko rin kasi parang somehow you want to grow, then yung alam mo yun, yung nasimulan mong savings. So doon ako mas naging parang motivated to find other ways kung paano mapapalago yung income ko, kung
Okay.
paano siya mag-grow.
So did I ask you the question already? Ano yung pinaka-reason mo on why you wanted to go back to the Philippines?
Okay. Yeah. Siguro, I think that's every Filipino's, for me, it's very different talaga when you're in your home country. There's, like, to be honest with me, living in the States, okay siya. I mean, my family is there. I always would want to be with my family. That's one thing. But at the same time, for someone who's starting out, who wants to start a family soon, or, like you have plans of like having your own family, you can really see that the values of Filipinos and, the family orientation and overall environment is still so much better who's from. I think sobrang daming potential din dito. Like I think nga pag nakikita ko siya, mas malaki yung potential mo to really grow your wealth here. Kasi mas marami kang pwedeng gawin versus sa other countries. Kasi usually Filipinos in other countries marami sa atin tied tayo sa work lang eh. Kasi 'di ba parang either yung visa natin naka-tie doon, or it's just that talagang it's not easy to put up also a business kasi syempre hindi ka as familiar compared here in the Philippines. So for me, I see so much potential in the Philippines, and at the same time, it's very different to be home talaga.
Baka may mag-comment, tanungin nila, baka umuwi ka lang dahil sa love life.
Ay, hindi na.
Hindi naman. So,
Hindi.
marami kang
Hindi
umuwi dahil
actually.
sa ganun eh. So, what's your
Oo.
tips for Filipinos na abroad kung paano nila masa-strategize yung pag-uwi nila. And this is what I want to tell people. Pag gusto mong umuwi, mag-strategize ka, na uwi ka bata pa, huwag ka uuwi na 60 ka na, hindi ka naman papakinabangan ng tao dito. So, what's your tip for people who want to go home early? Now, when they come home early naman, they have savings, they have investments, they have something that they can also do that will generate money for them. Go.
For me, number one tip, you really have to set your goal. Kasi I always tell people, being rich and wealthy is relative eh. Eh, kung sinong katabi mo, for example, ako, pag tinabi mo ako kay Marvin Hermo, mahirap ako, di ba?
Oy, I can neither confirm nor deny that statement.
kumbaga, depende yan kung sino yung katabi mo. Like, even the richest person in the Philippines, you pair it with another person in UAE or somewhere else in the world. It's very relative. So I think what's important is for them to set a goal. Ano ba yung life or ideal life na gusto nila when they go back, so that yung efforts mo to save, yung efforts mo to invest is geared towards that direction. Let's say for example, you really want to have a house, right? And I think for me, especially for Filipinos, that's something na you have to start early on. Kasi, syempre, di ba, if you want to purchase a house and there's amortization there, and yung amortization pa lang nung bahay na yon, alam mo na it's hard na ma-earn mo kapag nandito ka na sa Philippines. So, you have to start early on para hindi yung iipunin mo lahat ng cash, iipunin mo lahat, and then pag uwi mo, wala ka nang natira because you purchase all this real estate or a car. So, I think what's important is for you to have a goal, like a clear goal. Kailan mo gusto umuwi? Ano yung gusto mong lifestyle pag uwi mo? And, how much savings do you really want to have? And after that, lay out your timeline also. It's not that you're going to save 2-3 years before ka umuwi. You should be preparing for that the moment you start working. Kasi, lahat it really takes time. I mean, luckily for me, nakatira ako sa parents ko before. But then, for a lot of OFWs kasi hindi ganon, diba? So, you really have to spend also on your own pag nasa ibang bansa ka and you're working. So, it would take time. But, what's important is talagang naka-layout yung plan mo. And at the same time, pag umuwi ka at nagbabakasyon ka, you have to have a budget. Kasi umuwi din ako before bago ano. Pero you have to have a budget lang kasi usually ang nangyayari sa ibang OFW is, okay, uwi sila for a vacation and then back to zero na yung saving. So I think it's important na naka-budget ka somehow, and pagbalik mo dito, you can spend more, or at least you can start a new life here in the Philippines.
I like what you said, no, na when you come home, nabili mo na yung property mo kasi madami pag-uwi nila, saka na sila bumibili ng property, hindi naubos kagad, tapos hindi pa income generating yon. And then you said that pag-uwi mo, dapat may budget ka, hindi nauubos lahat. Before I put this to a close, ano naman yung mga technique mo sa States na? Sa States din kasi daming sale, daming mga pag nag-sale yung mga outlet ton, sobrang mura, or kahit yung mga normal na store. Ano yung ginagawa mo para hindi ka matempt gumastos? Yung common tendency also of Filipinos when they're abroad, since they're earning a lot, yung hindi nila nabibili sa Pilipinas, nabibili nila doon. So, how did you resist temptation?
I don't go to the malls. Well, I'm not going to deny it. Impulsive buyer ako. So, pag nasa mall ako, I would literally buy something na hindi ko naisip na kailangan ko. So, what I did, I got into different like, meron, ang ginawa ko, nag-spend ako ng time, ano ba yung iba kong pwedeng gawin? And actually, that's why I got into running. So, like, have a certain lifestyle na hindi siya magiging expensive for you. So, in my case, I got into running. So, a lot of my time, spend ko to train, to run, and work out. Yun yung ginagawa ko. Rather than, spending so much time sa mall. Kasi we get it nakakainip talaga, di ba? Pagka OFW ka, pag nasa ibang bansa ka. So, you have to find certain activity that would actually make it fun for you while you're there, rather than just the mall. I mean, I'm not saying na for you not to shop. Of course, you should have some leeway for that. But dapat bukod sa shopping and bukod sa pagbili, you find other satisfaction sa ibang bagay na ginagawa mo.
Galing. May nag-request pala, baka gusto mo rin daw na a hobby na walang bayad. Nag-comment si Liezel, baka gusto mo na rin daw mag-TikTok din. Baka gusto mo. ano,
Hindi ko kaya yung TikTok.
may sakit, may hinanakit pa rin siya kasi
Nanonood lang
kinuha mo
ako.
yung slot, kinuha mo daw yung slot niya yesterday eh.
Hi, Liezel.
Anyways, nagsha-Shopee ka ba, Lazada?
No, I don't do online
Ako,
shopping. I'm not into it eh. Luckily, and yeah, I'm not into it.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah. For I think well with that, I'm not saying na it's not a good like like it's actually very good, like e-commerce really good. Siguro ako mas physical lang talaga ako pag bumibili ako, gusto ko nakikita ko, pinupuntahan ko. Hindi ako masyado sa online shopping. And I am intentionally avoiding na tumingin. Kasi impulsive buyer ako. I know I'm impulsive buyer talaga. And whenever nasa mall ako or kahit pumunta ako sa Taytay, I go to Taytay to buy my clothes. Kasi namamahalan ako dito compare sa clothes sa States. So I don't buy anything here pag nandito ako sa mall. So punta ako ng Taytay. But then I spend so much din kasi ang daming nandun. So
Hmm.
I also live, yeah. So I think you kind of really just have to know yourself and para malaman mo how you can also discipline yourself.
Nako, madaming magagalit sa'yo na designer. Kasi dun sila bumibili sa Taytay. Nalaman na booking na yung secret na sa Taytay bumibili. Pero sa totoo lang, mas mura nga sa Taytay kaysa Baclaran ng Divisoria. For some reason,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why that place is cheaper. Pero mura lahat dun eh. Mga generic
Yes.
itsura.
Yeah.
So, that's it. Final words for Filipinos. Ay, hindi pala. Before final words, para babalikan natin to in the future, meron ka bang target age and target amount that pag nakuha mo to, ano na ako, I'll stop everything and I'll just let my money work for me. Target age and target amount. Para babalikan natin yung video
Target.
na to.
Sige. Sige. Ano lang naman to, no? Ano ka lang. Target age siguro 40,
Okay.
40, 45, 40,
So,
45.
9 years to 16 years, parang ganun. Tama ba? 9 to 14
Yeah.
years. Okay.
Yes. And
Target
if I have mga kahit 30M lang, I would
30.
stop working. Yeah.
Sinabi mo sa
Kasi,
akin, off-air kahapon nasa 22 ka na, so 8 na lang
no,
kailangan.
mukhang maniwala yung mga tao.
Okay, so
But yeah.
we'll come back. Ang tagal naman nun, baka wala na yung YouTube by that time, no? But in 9 to 14 years, we'll come back and let's see 30 million by the age of 40 to 45.
Mm-hmm.
Final words for Filipinos na medyo based on the way you're talking, no, by the way, for those who are watching this, we're doing this video during the lockdown. Bakit parang hindi ka takot, di ka fearful, di ka anxious, but mukha kang masaya at saka excited? Yung only thing na na-mention mo was you wanted to increase your emergency fund pero you didn't feel naman na kinakabahan. Why are you calm in the face of uncertainty? And then final word for Filipinos out there.
Sige. So, siguro kasi, well, I'm grateful na, yun nga, naka-start ako ng maaga. Somehow, I know na meron ako kahit papaano emergency funds during this quarantine period. Of course, lahat naman tayo, syempre, we also have our bills and whatnot. And I'm not saying na I'm completely, not worrying, but I'm intentionally trying to, like making the most out of this quarantine period. And that's also why I reach out to you, Sir Marvin, because I am making the most out of my time to learn more about trading and stocks and investment. Kasi pag may work na, ayan na naman, busy na naman, di ka na naman maka-aral, you have all the excuses na busy ka, na may work ka. So right now, that's what I'm focusing on. I think during this quarantine, you just really have to make the most of what you have. Kasi this is our current normal so that's what I'm doing. But and also, like I said, if you have savings, if you know that you have at least an emergency fund, that would somehow remove yung worry mo compared to someone. And I like my heart breaks whenever I see that in the news na of course meron talaga na nahihirapan sila during this time, and we can only this is the time na siguro magtulungan tayo, donate, or whatever it is that you can do that.
I think also above and beyond donating, no, uh,
Mhm.
you've already done more than enough. Pag napanood to ng mga tao, may inspire sila. Wow, galing, 31 years old, sobrang yaman. Tapos may love life pa. Uh, thank you so much for being part of this vlog. This is your second part here.
Thank you also.
Kami nawala kay Liezel Yambao because si Liezel Papa yung pumalit, no? Tapos nagkaroon, you got to share your story also. So thank you. I hope, for those who are watching this, I hope that this is something that encouraged you. If you are a Filipino abroad, especially sa States, there's a lot of people who are from the States that's watching this. I hope that you know the cost of living there, especially for those who are from New York or San Francisco. You know how expensive life is there as well. And it, I hope that you use this time also to learn and build skills on how you can save and invest for the future. And for those who intend to live elsewhere or come back home, I hope that you use this and you use Lizel as an inspiration na bago kayo gagastos, tignan nyo ulit yung screenshot ng video na to na kasama si Lizel. What will Lizel do at this moment? Ay, hindi muna ako gagastos. So I hope that this can be an inspiration for you, that you save and you invest for your future as well. Before we end, ngayon ko lang ito gagawin. Meron ka bang babatiin?
Um, Wala na.
Wala naman. First time, di ba?
Actually, my friends, sila Tel, Maya, and Tin, yeah.
Mm.
Kasi, yeah, nakita nila yung video ko kahapon.
Okay.
So,
Nakasubscribe ba sila? Baka hindi naman sila nakasubscribe.
baka nakasubscribe na ngayon kasi
Naman kayo, guys, parang awa nyo na, mag-subscribe naman kayo. So, that's it for now. Thank you, Liezel, for having us. If you have more questions or you want Liezel back, comment, I want Liezel, and then we'll see, pakiusapan natin siya kung meron pa siyang gustong ikwento about her life. Pero very inspiring, 31, sobrang yaman. Thank you for everyone joining this. I hope this video helps you trade well, trade strong, trade smart. Liezel Papa, thank you so much for joining us. God bless you all. Bye, everyone.